This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Oh, isn't that hair fabulous? Broadcasting live from the new hotspot on Fort Myers Beach. Wahoo! Willies! It's time for another exciting, award-winning episode of Beach Talk Radio. Here are your humble hosts, Kim and Ed Ryan.
How about that, Landau Law Group? I bet you weren't expecting that round of applause for us. Thank you, little podcasters.
And I just have to put the caveat that now that summer is, now the weather's getting warmer, the humidity's coming up. The hair, you're going to have to take that hair thing out of the intro because it's going to be.
I know.
It gets rough in the summer.
I can't believe you're out in public with the way your hair looks right now.
I can't believe I don't have it
ridiculous.
Up yet before it goes. Whoa.
We have a big day here on the beach. In addition to a great show that we have for you today, we have a big concert at 4:30 over. Is it too loud? Sorry. Dave, you're too busy drinking your beer. You're supposed to be our sound guy at the beginning. Is that better?
It's that you're so loud.
I know, dear. You have to be vibrant. You have to be loud. You have to be, get the word out there. So the word is at 4:30 we have a concert at Moss Marina. Bill Beck starts at 4:30 and then split decision at 6:00. And today's event is a fundraiser for the Beach Kids Foundation. So we are asking everybody that if you come down to the event, if you can, bring a backpack full of supplies or just an empty backpack or just supplies. And we'll fill the backpack. We'll turning over all the supplies to the Beach Kids Foundation later today. And we really just want you to come out and relax and, have a day of just kind of relaxation. Bring your sunscreen and your umbrella to block the sun because it is going to be hot.
I did forget that.
And it's going to be right on the water there. And there will be the Tuckaway Cafe food cart will be there. And also there's it's like a bait shack that's over there that they do sell, Dave. I know you're excited about this. They do sell beer and alcohol. Beer and alcohol isn't beer alcohol? Beer and other things, wine or whatever, at the bait shack over there. So don't bring your own. Bring some extra money. So we're looking forward to that, and we'll have all our merchandise in the tent and all that. So, anything you want to add to the show?
No, I'm ready to go.
Okay. So one other thing before we invite Albert on, May 13th is the day before Mother's Day. Don't forget your mom, everybody. We're having a 5K race and walk, fun run. You can sign up virtually from wherever you are.
And that's a 1 mile, right?
It's a 1 mile walk. Well, it's a 1 mile run, but that's not timed. The 5K is timed, and we have medals for the top 3 winners in every age category up to 80 years old. So the 1 mile run is not timed. And there's also, you could just walk or you could just, you don't even have to register. You can just come out and get on the course. We have 260 registered runners and walkers so far. Our goal was 300. So there's there's exactly 2 weeks left to get another 40 runners. And we'll be able to write a nice check to the folks at FMB Strong, which is 820 Buttonwood. And you probably all remember that 820 Buttonwood was the location where we all were when the storm first hit, and helping each other out or giving each other a hug. Well, I didn't really hug anybody, but she was hugging people. But they were picking up supplies and generators and things that they needed. So it's now an official 501c3. So they have they are giving out. They have a truck that comes from, I don't even know where it comes from. It just comes from and drops off supplies and then they deliver them to people.
Like a magic truck? It just shows up.
It's a magic truck.
Okay.
There's, dear, I didn't know this. And there's just people in life that want to just do things nice for other people. And they don't want anything in return. There's a truck that shows up. They unload the truck and they.
Well, right after the storm that you were talking about, 820 Buttonwood, and that you would see that. I can't remember how many people just would show up. One guy and his daughter from Fort Lauderdale came over. No big fanfare. They had their car, the SUV loaded with stuff. And I was like, do you have family over here? Nope. We just know we've gone through it, over there and wanted to We knew you were going to need some stuff. And it was like within a couple of days and he said, I want to show my daughter, that this is what you do and you help people out. And it just went on from there and there and there.
We were talking to the folks here about one of those trailers that Stevie Can Do It. Is that how you say it? Or Stevie Will Do It? I don't know who the guy was.
Messed up.
And I was standing at Buttonwood when my phone rang and I answered the phone and it was him. It was just like, I didn't know who the guy was. And he wanted to donate. First it started out like he wanted to donate one trailer. And then he was like, no, I think I want to donate 10 trailers. Or he went to the dealership and the guy only had 10 left. So the dude said, I'll take them all. Like, who's got the kind of money? Well, somebody that just swigs alcohol and gets drunk on YouTube has enough money to, I guess, buy every trailer on the lot. Instagram. And so he bought all the trailers and they brought them all over. And we met all these people at Santini Plaza. And it was just, it was just crazy back then, but that was at 820 Buttonwood when he called.
They were all young kids.
Yeah.
They were all young
and
kids.
their livers are so shot right now. I mean, wait until they're 50 years old and it's going to be.
We were slamming those Happy Dad drinks they brought over.
What is a Happy Dad?
It's like a seltzer drink.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it was at 820 Buttonwood when he called, and I just happened to be standing next to Dan at the time, and I said, well, I can't do anything about it. I'm just a dinky podcaster, and I hand the phone over to Dan, and Dan kind of made the whole thing happen where the trailers showed up a couple of days later and were given out to people who didn't have a house.
Yep.
So the money from the race will be donated to FMB Strong. So we have those two events coming up. But let's get to our first guest. Enough about our silly events. Albert D'Ambrose is our first guest. Come on down, Albert. And first of all.
Oh, look at you getting a round of applause.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why he's getting a round of applause. A couple things. I want to thank the town of Fort Myers Beach and the Fort Myers Beach Fire Department and Moss Marina for helping us pull off this event tonight. But also, Albert, he was the first person to call and say, I want to be the major sponsor for the event. So he covered all the expenses for tonight's event to pay for the bands and the other expenses and the stage. So thank you for that. We appreciate you jumping on that.
You're welcome.
And if you ever.
You seem like the most humble. And I was saying to Ed, you have the kindest face. Do you get that often?
Sometimes.
Yeah, you
Depends
do.
what I'm
You have
going
a
through.
smiley, kind face.
She's never said to me, Dave,
no,
dear, you've got a kind face.
No.
She said, what the hell ran over your face?
I
That's
do
what
not
she
say
said to
that.
me.
I just make a comment that you own a bulldog, and sometimes they say owners resemble.
Yeah. So, Albert, you own an architect company, or you started an architect. Tell us about your company.
So I opened my firm back in 2004, and at that time I was doing things on the side. I was working for a firm, came across one client, and I didn't know it was going to be a client. It was a person needed help going through permitting. A friend of mine, structural engineer, said, hey, this person's getting rejected left and right. I said, well, let me see what I can do to help them. So can you write a letter? I looked at the letter and go, dude, this is step one. How are they not getting this through? So I wrote the letter to them. The client actually voluntarily sent me a check and paid me for a random amount and said, thank you so much. We went through permitting, got through with that letter. So then I was like, let me start doing this a little bit more. So we started working little projects here on the site. And it was just me and myself at that time. And fast forward to now, where there's 5 of us in total, my wife and another architect and a couple of project managers. And we've grown from just doing residential work back then to commercial and residential work. So we've did a little bit of growth since then. And
yeah,
I was actually a full-time professor at FSW during that time frame. So that kind of helped me like get out on my own and kind of like build a clientele little by little.
And what do you? How long do you have to go to school to be an architect? Because that was something people would always say they wanted to be growing up. Like I want to. It just sounds very distinguished and knowledgeable. Which
I think,
I'm
as
sure
my mom said,
is.
I could have been a surgeon at the time it took me.
Wow.
So with 2 years at that time was Edison Community College because I went to high school here.
Oh, you did?
Yes,
Yeah.
I went to Norfolk Myers High School,
Nice.
so home of the Red Knights, and went to Edison Community College. Wasn't ready yet to go to a university just yet. My dad had just recently passed away the year prior to that. So leaving home with mom by herself was
Yeah.
sort of like, I'm going to stay here. I really wasn't sure exactly clear what I was going to do. So I went there for 2 years, then went to University of Florida, did your undergrad for 4 years, and then to get your master's, in order to get a licensed architect in the state of Florida, you have to have a master's. That's 2 more years. So it's 6 + 2, 8.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so
a lot
8
of
years.
school.
It's typically 6. So because I went to Edison, I lost some time, but it's paid off. It's totally fine.
You don't have to answer this question if you don't want to, but I'm sure the audience wants to know, how much money did you actually spend on all of those college years? Like, what's the total amount you spent?
Well, it was a while ago.
My
too.
student loan was roughly around 50 to 60,000 when it all said
That's
and done.
Wow. Did Biden forgive you for that?
Nope.
I see.
Still paying for it.
Why didn't he forgive
That
you
was-
for that loan?
Well, because he probably had it paid off.
Oh, you
before
paid
that
it
even
off,
came
I see.
up.
I'm still going.
You're still paying it
Well, when
off.
the interest rate's like 1.8%,
You
when I
stretch
could
it
salary
out,
back then,
right.
it's sort of like,
Right.
why would I
Right.
pay that off
I
in
see.
such a little amount?
So
Now that would cost
A lot more.
Yeah,
College is really
at least
expensive now.
double. Yeah.
Yeah.
if anybody's watched the show on Mondays with the mayor, you're always jumping in there to try and help out, answer questions that people have, because there's always questions going on the side with permitting and other questions, and you seem to have a lot of the answers because you've gone through this.
Yes. Yeah. We do a lot of projects all around Southwest Florida, so not just the beach. So Lee County, Fort Myers, Naples, all around the state. In fact, we're doing a project up by the Villages right now. So the first thing we always do is reach out to the building department, introduce ourselves, and get to know them personally, because that helps put a face to a project. Otherwise, it's just blank sheets of paper. They don't know who you are. But yeah, obviously as an architect, we have opinions.
Yeah.
We have things that we can help people, but we know stuff. So we want to be able to get that information out.
So you do the design and then they get a builder to build it. Is that how
Correct.
it works?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's sort of like you have the owner with the direction, the idea, the client, and then the architect is kind of like the main designer.
The dream
everything.
maker.
Yes. Hopefully its dreams come true, you know.
Now, what is the problem with the permitting on Fort Myers Beach? Why are
Or permitting in general.
I would
there?
say
We don't really
actually
care
right
about
now-
in general. Why
I'm
do you?
just trying to put a little
But when I ask a
context to it.
question, I don't really think that you need to qualify my
I
question.
do
Let me
need to
ask my
temper it a
question,
little
and then
bit.
if you want to ask your own question, that's
Okay.
fine. Why are people complaining about the permitting on Fort Myers Beach?
Or
Well, two things. I think the majority right now, there's a lot of not knowing what's required. And when you look at the people submitting things, owner bills and stuff, I think that's where the translation getting lost. I will say, though, in comparison to the other jurisdictions around here, if I had to rank them all today, your guys are actually number one.
Come on.
Yes.
see,
Wow.
Timing wise, I've seen house plans going, even to get rejection
Then
comment.
why are people complaining so much?
I just think people want to have things as fast as possible.
Yeah.
You know, as things with things, and it takes time. You know?
What?
yes. So
Yeah,
now zip your lip about it.
I-
So
I
will tell you
wasn't
that there's
complaining
other
about it.
jurisdictions around here that your plans go in, it will sit in a portal for 6 weeks and
Where?
not even get dispersed out
Well, I think
because
the
of
other,
how backed up they are.
Where?
right.
That's Lee County.
Okay. Well,
Lee County.
well, people were trying to say how great Lee County was to make Fort Myers Beach look bad. It doesn't sound like that's true.
And they still are, because once it actually gets to their desk, they're really efficient, get everything through. There's really talented plan reviewers. And
Who is at Lee County or
Yeah.
Fort Myers? Okay. Yeah.
Lee County.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's other ones that are they're all busy.
Well, I think too that there's
But
so
I
much.
think the beach has been,
There's so much volume.
inundated.
They
Yeah.
evolved a lot. I would
Yeah.
say
Right.
that they
Yeah, well-
definitely evolved a lot. So behind the scenes, there are things that are taking place. I see it online. You know, it's a little more streamlined. There's always room for improvement, no matter what jurisdiction it is. And I'm sure they're going to get around to some of those things later on. But there's a lot of things in the works. Obviously.
Yeah. I mean, they hammered out a lot of permits compared to previous years when they need to put the numbers out more. I think if they promoted the number of permits they've actually put out this year compared to previous years, you really need to ramp up the staff.
I think that's it's important, because most other jurisdictions will do that. They'll say we had X amount of permits of this, X amount of permits of that, and this is how many we process over the 30 days, and how fast permits are turnaround time.
Now, we did a story on the Bay Oaks building. The delay, there's so many prongs to the Bay Oaks building. The Bay Oaks building needs to be done in order for the school district to vote on a school, one of the 3 choices to rebuild the school.
Sure.
But it keeps getting pushed back. And you looked and saw what's going on with the permits.
Yeah, so when
there.
your newsletter came out the other day, I just was curious as an architect. So I looked up the address and pulled up the permit on the Town of Fort Myers Beach portal. And obviously it was just more recently submitted. And when I look at what's submitted and what the scope of work is, I'm like, this needs full plan review from the very beginning. If
what does that mean?
was known, like full construction documents of everything. The first thing about every project is knowing what you need to do in order to get through permitting, not experiment by going through a permitting.
I see.
Knowing all the rules and the games of engagement, what you got to do, and talk to the staff, talk to the own building department, talk to the fire department. So what do we need to do? And most of the time, they'll tell you what you need to do, and that causes delays.
What are you doing? What are you making that face for? What you made a face? Why?
Nope. Moving on.
Why do you think she made that face, Albert?
I'm not sure.
Why did you make the face?
No. Go ahead.
So, do you actually, when you see what's going on with Bay Oaks, do you think it'll be open in time?
What's the time they're trying to open by?
Well, they got to open by the next school year. When is the next school year start? It's still possible.
It's possible if you work as a team, work out to the plan reviewers of Fort Myers Beach, work with the fire department. What do you guys need? Here's where we are. How do we get there? And you just got to work as a team. That's what we're doing on other projects. You got to engage all the jurisdictions and get their feedback and get them sooner rather than going in there. So when you go in there for the plans, it's like, oh, we've talked to these people. We've discussed what we want to do. We negotiate certain things that we normally would say you need, but we'll let that slide or find a creative way to make it work. But if you don't do that, there's a higher chance of getting rejected.
So Greg,
let me just,
yeah, in a second though, but Greg put your information out there in case people want to contact you, because people are asking how to get in touch with you.
Best way is probably call or text me at 239-292-4098. Our email address, my email address, it's Albert, ALBERT, at studio, STUDIOAD.net. Just shorten that. I think.
And simple as possible. So, okay, if somebody's watching, can type that in the chat box. Give out your number one more time.
239-292-4098.
All right. So when you were saying that it's best, you need to go in there knowing what you need first off. And is that not what happened when you looked at the recent thing for Bay Oaks,
we don't know what happened before they submitted,
Okay.
I just look at plans and for the various projects, not just in Fort Myers Beach, but elsewhere. What did they do to get in? When I see certain things that are not up to par, what we would have done and other firms of our size would have done, we realize something got lost.
So the responsibility falls on the architect and the builder, or the architect,
because we all got to work as a team.
Okay.
Yeah, we all got to work as a team. We learn from each other. On other projects on the beach, we're working with a contractor. They ask us, there's only so much we know. There's stuff that they know. We overlap each other, and we tell each other, what do you know about Fort Myers Beach? What we got to do? Well, you got to do this. I just went through a project. We got rejected for this. So we're not going to do that mistake again. We're going to incorporate that in this project. Or if there's something out there in left field that you don't know clearly the answer of, reach out to the fire department and say, hey, this is how I read the code. I don't think we need this. Do you agree? And if they say no, then you know what you need to do to move forward. If you just try to guess sometimes, and our building codes, there are a lot of black and whites. It's very clear.
When you say R, you mean Fort Myers Beach?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, because you're working in other areas, but you are been very helpful to the folks on Fort Myers Beach. And folks, if you didn't know, Albert and his team will have a table set up at the concert tonight at Moss Marina. So if you have other questions afterward, this is your chance. You're going to get a lot of free shit today. Sorry, are there any kids in the house? You're going to a lot of free stuff. You're going to get the Landau Law Group is staying after the show, and they're going to answer questions about your insurance problems. And Albert is going to have a table set up at the show today, so you can have some one-on-one with Albert about that. And you're always helpful. You and Holly seem to have a lot of interest in helping people on the beach. So that's very nice.
That's what we just want to do. We have the information, so just get it out there, and someone helps make a decision moving forward.
Okay,
if someone needs to use you like as a consultant, like to do a letter or something like that, what is that? How much does that cost in general?
It varies. It just depends, like our time and involvement.
There, you really have to ask such a personal question about how much it costs. Like,
I'm going to be asking them how much. I mean, no, you need to.
Wow.
Well, I just think
so personal.
Honestly, we're very similar like lawyers. We have an hourly rate. Depends what's done.
What is your
fixed? It just depends.
What is your hourly rate?
So I get crucified for it, but.
Tried to slide that in there, but
how much did you make last year? That's going to be his next question.
How many push-ups can you do in 1 minute? So before we go any further, we like to ask all of our guests a speed round of questions. Are you ready?
Oh, we're back to
Yes.
this? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Just
Dog or
like-
cat person?
Dog.
Okay.
Dog. Okay. Favorite TV show growing up as a young kid?
18.
The
The 18. Who was your favorite character in the show?
Of course.
Howard Mad Murdoch.
I see. Favorite movie of all time?
Ooh, lately it's been Maverick. Top Gun.
Yeah. Yay, that's
Oh, she's
two
so in
times,
love with that.
Two times that's happened. Let's see. If you won $1 million in the lottery, let's put it at 10 million, because $1 million, what are you going to do? What would you do with the money? Besides, give it to us.
That's a lot. Honestly, we'll give back,
Uh-huh.
and we still have our company. We just actually do more things for
So
free
you'd
to
be
help
one of
people
those.
out. Yeah.
Okay, so you'd keep
Yeah,
working.
we take care of our family,
Yeah.
of course, and then
Yeah.
we have two
No
kids
big
going through
trip
college
or-
too.
Oh,
Eventually.
well,
Really?
there goes
Yeah.
5 million right
Yeah.
there.
Who are the three most interesting people you've ever met, not including your family?
The architect I worked for when I was in high school. One of my professors in undergrad and graduate schools, who since passed away. And the third one,
Two's good.
2 is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Three's-
Most embarrassing
I
moment.
wanted to ask that
most
question.
embarrassing moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
First grade, first presentation ever in my life.
Wow, this came
Wow.
right to the
Not even
forefront.
have to think about that.
That was
There's
most
some
embarrassing.
trauma.
There
Is
was
there
some
a trauma
therapy.
therapist
There was
in
some
the house?
therapy attached to this
Yeah.
sucker. You're a therapist? $2.20 an hour.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
$2.
Well, I overcame it. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I obviously did public speaking in classroom.
Somebody
so.
pulled your pants down.
No.
That's
Yeah.
usually the.
We
thing
we
to
have
do. That's-
3 of those back in the
yeah.
history. What was it?
Huh?
So you got up in
Yeah,
first
I got
grade.
up in front of the presentation, just completely froze right there and
Yeah.
just had nothing to say. And this was
What's
like,
first grade? You're like
I
what?
looked straight
6?
down on the floor
Yeah.
and went right back to my desk and said absolutely nothing.
Wow.
Just
How did the
complete scared
teacher
of that.
handle that?
She was totally fine. I mean, this is
Yeah.
first grade, so it was sort of like you tried your
can't
best.
believe you
going-
remember that.
I
How-
went back up and eventually did my little book report that we had to do
Yeah.
back then.
how,
But
how old are you now?
I'm 48.
48. So first grade would have been 47
6.
years ago or something. I mean, like a long time ago. Right.
Yeah, it's 60 in mine, apparently, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
1-year-olds are going
All
right
right.
to the front
It's
of
like
the
every
room
time you do
there.
public presentation, it just comes back in your mind like, man, that happened the first time. So it should be
What's
okay this
yours?
time.
Most embarrassing
I
moment.
when I had to play the flute in the orchestra, and I was pretending like I was playing. I wasn't really blowing. I was just pretending because I never practiced. Who the hell?
That's your most
Yeah,
embarrassing.
yeah.
I can
Well,
think
my
of
most
way
embarrassing
other-
moment is my freaking parents made me play the flute. That was the most. I mean, why not just kick you in the nuts or something to say you're a girl? I
You
mean,
did a
you give them
recorder?
a flute, not a trumpet or
Did you
something.
do a little
the
recorder,
recorder, the
too?
plastic
It was,
recorder
it was
first.
just totally. Why am I carrying around this girly instrument? I mean, nothing against girls or anything. I love girls and ladies, but I'm just saying.
You
when you're
are in
growing-
deep water.
No.
I'm not throwing you a
I
life
know
preserver.
I know it's a different time now, but when you're growing up back then, you're not.
These guys are just like,
I should be-
and we're out.
I should be walking around with a tuba around my neck or some manly instrument, not something that makes you, that
Wow. We're
pulls
getting
your-
rid of
you wanted a
gender
tuba.
specific stuff and pronouns.
No,
and
I
you
wanted-
just like
if I could play the Star Spangled Banner on a trumpet, I could forget about the flute days. I mean, if I could just figure out, let's just buy a trumpet on Amazon and play like that would be like people would really think you're a man if you could do that, right? If you could play the Star Spangled Banner and a trumpet.
Well, you can walk up and down the street, do the same thing
For
with the
sure.
tuba guy.
Well, the tuba, I don't want to steal his thunder. I mean, but the trumpet is really, that's a manly instrument right there, right? Don't you think? Like
I'm not touching it.
you get that little cup on the
I'm
end and you
remembering
look like
you-
a friggin', you look like a genius when you're
I'm
doing that. No,
remembering
not the
you-
trombone. The trombone, I'm not feeling the trombone. The trumpet, that's a real instrument right there. So
How about a ukulele?
not feeling that. No.
No.
So,
So you almost
oh.
passing out at our wedding? Not.
what?
I looked over at him and it was like this. I was like, he's
What was
going
that
down.
for? I was I was like in awe of being around
No,
your
you
beauty.
weren't. No, you weren't.
It was
You,
just-
you
I
and your
needed
uncle
smelling
almost
salts.
didn't make it. Yeah.
So, Bess, what would you consider the greatest album of all time, Albert?
Dark Side Moon.
No, Pink Floyd, the
Yeah.
worst band ever.
No. No, in college, when you're in a design studio, you put the headphones on and you just.
No, I cannot believe you said that.
Such design.
Pink Floyd is the worst. I mean,
and Maverick. That's like two
no,
for two.
you guys get out of here with the Pink Floyd crap. They're so terrible. Oh, thank you. I thought you were giving me the finger. But hey, buy him a round of drinks. Yeah. No, you know why I think they're so bad is because we used to own a gym. And when Pink Floyd would come on the radio, it's the worst workout music ever. Like,
well, I would agree to
the
workout.
songs are 27 minutes long, and and there's no rhythm to it or anything to it. Now, I understand architects probably smoke a little weed to get. I mean, is that what the whole process was? And you get into the Pink Floyd thing, or
you got to get the creative juices going.
I hear what you're saying. I cannot believe you pulled that out of your head.
College is
nice.
It's good.
Nice. I mean, Pink Floyd. I would have. Any other band would have been fine other than Pink Floyd. So, no, I don't mean to criticize you because you've been a great friend of ours. Now, do you want your money back for the show after I said that?
Of course not.
No, so
what's the biggest project you ever designed?
Biggest project.
I gotta bring us all back, folks.
Thank you.
Actually, the biggest project we designed never got built. It got squashed during COVID. Yeah, it was a headquarters that we were doing off of north of Alico on Three Oaks Parkway. It was for one of the AC companies that were doing a new location out there. And it was a pretty good sized building for us. And it was a lot of modern stuff going on, which is kind of what I like to do, more of the modern design, full interiors and everything, of course. And that happened was right when COVID happened.
Yeah.
So things changed, planning, marketing, all that stuff, sale of the land. So that was probably the biggest project. We have some other ones we're working on right now, but we don't really do giant, large projects. We're a small firm. We'll do mid-sized projects,
Why should people go ahead?
I just wanted to ask him, the library, with the design of the library is so unique. Are you familiar with? Yeah. So do you do stuff like that, like eco-friendly kind of stuff, or?
I think we're just more like common sense design. There's a lot of things about green and all this stuff, but a lot of stuff, honestly, you just use common sense and do things the way things were built a long time ago, but obviously in a modern thing. That's eco. That's environmentally friendly.
Okay.
Now, why should people on Fort Myers Beach contact you? In what phase of their rebuild should they call you?
Any phase. If they're literally just starting off right now and figuring out the 50% rule, by all means, we can give you the directions. We can clarify what your options are. So they have 3 or 4 options. This is what you need to do for A, B, and C, and D. If you're building brand new, here's all setbacks, regulation, whether it's residential or commercial. And that's the first layer of the onion, is figuring out what can you do.
All right, Albert, let me ask you this. I have a hard...
Let me just say, I just want to thank you because I remember back, that's kind of why I laughed, when we were just struggling with the 50% rule. Do you remember how many shows we did where we had people?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to eat that microphone in a second, and it's not going to taste
good.
But
you see, the rhythm is I ask a question,
good.
You ask a question. Not I try to ask a question, and then you say, no, I need to ask the
because
question.
if I don't wedge myself in there, you'll just...
There's no time limit on our show. We could be here until 2 o'clock
Yeah,
today.
nobody wants that.
True.
Go ahead.
What was the question?
I don't know.
Did you ask him a question?
I already forgot the question.
Yeah.
No, I just thanked him for
Now I
being
don't
so
remember mine either.
knowledgeable about the 50% rule.
Yeah. So no, my question was, like, you saw the plans for Moss Marina. I mean, that looks spectacular. Like the 3 hotels and the boardwalk that they're going to do. And then you try and find out from the town, is that allowable? It's hard to understand what the rules are and whether or not the rules are solid or whether they're going to change the rules. So what are they going to do?
Or they're going to change the design.
There's layers of gray when it comes to commercial development. There's trade-offs. In our world, in commercial development, that's all done by planners and civil engineers. Obviously, we're in charge of the building. We know a little bit with the land and the code. But when you're going through a whole development process like that, you're basically looking at what's in code. There's trade-offs. If you provide something, maybe we'll do X. We see it all the time off island and development orders all around the county, all around these other cities.
Okay, but Albert, let me ask you. But when you see Dan on the show say, it's going to come down to what the people want inside the box. And then he talks about the box and how much want to be in the box. And then I'm like, the box. I mean, we're back to the box thing. I don't even know what that means. So, and then I talk to other people. They're not sure if they should rebuild now because the rules might change. What are the rules set in place now, or are the rules going to change?
The rules in our land development codes are set in place right now. So if you're ready to go, that's when your civil engineer looks at the rules, say, okay, these are the setbacks, these are X, Y, and Z. This is the height. Here's your box, which is, I keep saying the box, but here's your three-dimensional box. Mr. Architect or Mrs. Architect, just figure out what you want it to look like now. You know all the regulations on there. But if you want to deviate from those, you're allowed to ask for deviations as long as you're providing something else. So if you want a bigger setback or less a setback or taller height, you're allowed to do all those things. The verse they'll tell you is no, or they'll tell you, okay, we'll let you do that if you make this one change here. So it's all negotiation. So if you don't want to go that route and you take everything work like a house, for example, you know your height limitation is X, you know your setbacks are this and that, go with it. You don't have to ask for any variance or anything like that.
So you could ask for more height if you're willing to give something else up?
Yeah, it's a process, you know.
But
again,
then,
that's not my
So the
rule.
codes are in place, but there's wiggle room.
But
there's
also
always wiggle room.
But there's
Yes.
also precedent that you said if you allow somebody to go higher than the rules say now, then somebody down the road
that
is
is
going to
true
say,
because someone else would then say, okay, we're going to follow that same strategy as well too.
Right.
You know?
right. And so it comes down to
it's a balancing act, you know.
So in your opinion, what they presented over here at Moss Marina does that fit within the rules right now?
I think if you take straight zoning as it is, probably not. I would think they want certain things and they have to negotiate certain things to get more height.
So let's say they're able to change the zoning so it fits into the zoning. Is it too high?
No,
It's not too high.
no.
Other people say it
we're
is
not
too
going
high.
18 stories. You're not going 25 stories like other parts of the state here. I think the scale of it will get worked out a little bit more as they evolve. These are the first concepts.
Yeah.
These are meant to get reactions, and obviously everyone's reacting to it.
Yeah. And they're having a public meeting on May 15th at the Pink Shell about the Moss Marina. So if anybody is interested to see what the plans are or to see some more of the pictures, it's going to be at the Pink Shell on May 15th from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock at night.
As we're looking at the building right there, the one that's there now, how much higher? Do you know?
It's
not
going
gonna
to be
be-
higher than that.
it is
that's
gonna be
a
higher than
warehouse.
that,
You
but
have
it's-
this condo here
It's
right
not
next to
going to be
us.
as high as that condo though, because that's grandfathered in. It's not going to be as high as that one.
Yeah, it probably is maybe a little bit higher.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, but looking at the renderings and scale wise, it looked like it's similar, maybe a little higher than that.
Yeah.
So, but it's like I said, that's a process. That's where planners, civil engineers all do it first,
Right.
and then the architect comes involved later on and say, okay, let's design the actual buildings and details. Now we realize what everyone negotiated heights.
It's all confusing. I mean, it's totally confusing to me. I'm sure it's not confusing to anybody else, but it's totally
and they have
confusing
to
to
build.
me.
Do they have to build up? Are they they're going to have parking underneath?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Plenty
an
of
option
parking
too.
Plenty of
Yeah.
parking underneath. All right, Albert. Well, we appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you
Anything
sponsoring
else
the
you
show.
want to let people know
Yes.
about your
Yeah,
company,
you've
about
been
you?
great for the community, man.
Yes.
Thanks so much.
Put it out there.
Put it out there.
Don't be shy.
we really appreciate the opportunity with partnering with you guys today's today's event. As a business, we grow. We always kind of look for how do we give back to the community, and over the years, we look at people reaching out to us, and it ends up going in different directions. We just focus on probably donating, helping, sponsorship that deals with children and kids and education.
Mhm.
That's primary. My wife's a school teacher, and she's been for a long time. Obviously, she's taking care of 2 kids right now, and I think that's the most important part for us. Is that's a clear direction for us. Anytime people are looking for a donation help, that.
Mhm.
So,
Thank you so much for that. You were
You're
the
welcome.
first person to contact us when we were looking for sponsorships and covered all the expenses for tonight's show
And you've always been helpful
yes.
to people,
at no charge.
at no charge in the comment section. So
Big
we
hand
do
for Albert,
appreciate
everybody.
Thank you.
And we'll see him tonight at the event at Moss Marina. So thank you for Albert D. Ambrose at AD Architect. Studio AD Architect. All right, before we get to our next guest, because if your insurance company has not taken care of you now, they are operating in bad faith. Thank you. 2 bells for me. I want to tell you that you can also call Mark Dorston at Dorston Claims. If your house is gone and your insurance company denied the claim, you should call Dorston Claims at 239-849-2949. That is 239-849-2949. You see his signs all over the island. You've seen him on the show. He's helped a lot of people. He's a public adjuster, and he doesn't get paid until you get paid. So it's not like you call him and he says, I need a $30,000 retainer, or I need you to grease my palms with $10,000 in cash that somehow you have in your safe. No. He'll tell you whether or not he thinks he can get you more money, and then you pay him after he gets you more money. I mean, that's the deal. That's the deal you want. Mark Dorston at 239-849-2949. Now, if you want to sell your lot, or if you want to look at buying a lot of that's going on around the island. You know that you call Alex King. Alex King is the man. Current Coastal Realty is the company. You see his picture everywhere at Fort Myers Beach. He'll explain the 50% rule. He's got all kinds of solutions for you. The King family has been on this island since 1958. That's 2 years after Kim was born. I mean, shit, that's a long friggin' time. He's the number one agent in sales volume for 6 straight years on Fort Myers Beach. And he's got the King Family Foundation, where he just walks around and giving out money. I want that job. Over $225,000 the past 2 years to Fort Myers Beach charities. And he says he's going to continue to do that. Damn, I want that job. Just handing out money. So give Alex King a call if you want to buy a house or if you want to sell your property. And if I had his number, I do. Here it is, 239-849-3663. 239-849-3663. One more. Let's do one more. Because I love taking care of these folks that support the show, just like all of you support the show with your coffees. Friday was a wicked-ass coffee day. Woof. I had so much coffee, I sat on the bowl the whole afternoon. Wow. Power Block Builders has built over 500 to 600 structural shells for tract home builders, and they're also a custom home builder in Cape Coral. They have a model in Northeast Cape Coral. They're now doing open houses for, and they have models for Fort Myers Beach. Yes, give Power Block Builders a call. They were born. The owner was born right here and raised in South Florida. He graduated high school in Naples, and he moved to Lee County back in 2008. Yes, it's in the truck. It's in that big rental truck we got. And they want to gain your trust. So Power Block Builders, they're online. They got a great model online, the Genesis model. You should check it out as soon as you can. I'm all alone now. Where'd everybody go? She's got to go get another chair for our next guest, the Landau Law Group. Just before we introduce our guests from the Landau Law Group, they are going to be set up here after the show to take your questions about these insurance Nazis. Yeah, insurance Nazis. Yeah, they owe you money, and if they haven't paid you their money yet, they don't pay. Man, you've been very vocal today. You want to come on down? Come on over here. Come on. Before we get to our next guest, what's that? Come on. You can come on the show for a second. Yeah, we got time to kill. Give everybody your name, sir.
So my name is Eric Dibus.
Do you live on the island?
Well, I have a house on Flamingo Street.
Nice.
I heard you were on Flamingo Street like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we did
There was
a walk
yellow
around.
one you made fun of, right?
No, I would never.
Yeah.
I love yellow.
Look at my face.
I love yellow. I might
It
have.
hurt a little bit.
Did it?
Just
Were
to
you
say.
inside the house?
I
Damn,
wasn't,
gotta
but I
say.
heard it. And
Was his feelings really
is there
hurt?
any mental health counselors here? Because I'm
Oh,
a little
shoot.
wounded.
Is your house okay? Was it because of the yellow or?
It's just because you made fun of it.
I'm so
You
sorry.
missed a few gym days lately, huh? I was trying to think of something to say because I was hurt. See, I lash out when I'm hurt.
Yeah,
So can we talk about insurance companies real quick?
we can.
So I still have not gotten a check from my flood insurance company.
Who is the company?
Lexington Flood. Yeah. So
Because there was no flooding during the storm. So why
Well,
should you get a check?
Exactly. I mean, it's just, here's the thing. The first thing I'm going to say is, and I know you probably hear this all the time, but I'm on Flamingo Street. Anyone on Flamingo Street in the house? Woo, you're supposed to go woo, woo, first time at a party. So the thing is, I live on one of the best streets on the island. I love
Oh,
this
yeah,
island.
yeah,
We found this
yeah.
island during COVID. I live on the other side of Florida. We came here during COVID. The people here are Snapple, the best thing on earth.
Yeah.
You have the best people on this
Wow,
island.
that's a blast from the
I'm gonna
past. Do
tell
they
ya.
still make Snapple?
I don't even know. I have no idea. So the thing I will tell you is The people here are quality people.
Yes.
And the one thing I was trying to tell you as I lost my words a little bit, because this is the first time I've been on TV. Where's the camera actually?
Right here
Where
in
is
front
it?
of you.
Wow, that's tiny.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's
does it
H,
make me
you're in
look big?
HD. Yeah.
Anyway,
It put 20
so-
pounds on you.
What are you trying to say?
Nothing. I
I
heard
know that joke.
TV puts
Hey,
20
did you lose
pounds on
5
you.
pounds. Look behind you, you'll find it. I've heard that joke. This guy's tough, man. This is a tough interview. This is the worst interview.
I haven't even asked the question
I know,
yet.
That's the worst part. So the point I'm trying to make is the first thing I want to say seriously is you have helped so many people on the island. I know you hear this, but when it all happened, I felt lost. Everybody felt lost. And what you do, and I know you hear this on a daily basis, is you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Because you provide so much information. Did you really miss the gym day? I feel like you did. See, that's just me being hurt and lashing out. I'm
Now
sorry.
I feel bad about
All right,
making fun
sorry.
of your
I'm
yellow
just
house.
Kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, see, I just wanted that. I just wanted an apology.
Now I need a
Now I
tour of
gotta
the
go.
yellow house.
Who's going to take the mic? Who's the
All right.
sound guy? But
No,
the
really,
thing
what's
I will
going on?
say is, so I got 8.5 feet of water in the house. They came out. They gave me a quote, everything. They told me to rip up the floors, cut the walls. I did everything they told me. I took all the pictures, videos, everything else. Come back at me. I haven't been paid for the flood insurance. I've gotten for my wind policy and my roof shot. I've gotten $19,000, but $4,000 was for the roof.
Mhm.
Now all my shingles are in my front yard.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's good or bad. Is there any roofers here? If all the shingles are in your front yard, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Probably a bad thing, but
So
you can call Liberty Roofing
yeah. So going through the process has been incredibly difficult. I will tell you.
for everybody.
Yeah,
You're right.
No, it's and my neighbors and everybody else.
Yeah, it's a shit
hard coming
show.
on the island.
Yeah.
It's every time I come out because I don't live here, but I come at least 2 or 3 times a week. You know, the first time I came in the island, I teared up a little bit
Yeah.
because you know we remember what was. But the best thing is it's going to be back to where it was.
You're right.
But I
Well,
have
it won't
to
be back to
sell
where it
my
was. It'll be.
house.
Oh, you did sell it.
No, I'm selling it in about 5 days because they did not give you the money to put the house together.
What are you selling it for?
$820 cash.
Nice, very nice. You gonna paint it
I'm-
before, or are you going in with the yellow?
Wow, really? I thought we were past that. You're tough, man.
Yeah, no, you're gonna
Where's
get
the
more
lady
for the
at?
yellow.
I really wanted to just talk to the lady because she was nicer.
The lady.
She said he had such an honest face. I was waiting to hear how my face looks, but no. So I will tell
Thank
you, and I'm going to talk to everybody out there. I've talked to my neighbors and everything else. I have a family friend, and he's here today, Landau Law Group.
Oh, okay.
You know, I'm just going to disclose family friend. We know each other for like 10 years. So I've been leaning on him for advice. He's the kind of guy you can call. Again, this isn't a commercial. I'm not like,
No.
I'm just
We
telling
want
you.
people to get help.
You get stuck in a position. And the one thing going through the whole process when I was in high school, when I used to walk into the gym, the football coach painted on the wall. He said it won't be easy, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
And if the insurance companies, can I cuss on this or no?
You
I
can
probably
say,
shouldn't.
well, if there's
Our
long as there's no
bastards.
kids and
The
okay,
insurance companies will give you as little as possible.
right.
And the thing I learned talking with Matt back and forth, he'll answer your questions. That's what he's here for. The only reason I came out is to support him.
There we go.
Okay.
We're good again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
call.
you, Lori. All
Thank
right,
you,
I'm gonna
guys. I
hand
must
this
have hit something by accident. All right. We are now going to introduce you to the Landau Law Group, everybody. Recently, they've come on as a sponsor, but that has nothing to do with, there's some kind of relationship that we have with sponsors and things going on at the beach where it almost kind of, it's not almost, it definitely meshes together. And we are good with four, watch your glasses there. Thank you guys for, thank you. I didn't see how I hit that by accident. So Matt, whoop, I'm going to fix that.
Hello. Yep.
You better fix something.
You got me? Okay. Hey guys, nice to meet everybody. I don't know what else to say after that endorsement. It's,
He just did your interview.
I'm telling you, what if you have any questions, ask Eric Ibis.
Is he on the payroll?
He's not on the payroll.
Not yet. Not yet.
Go back to your chair. Go back to your chair.
I'm actually just a little scared of him, so I let him do whatever he wants. Right?
Now tell us about your the law group.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Matt Landau. This is my partner, Paul Coons.
Good morning.
And I also have my other partner, Eric Fisher, up there. And we are the Landau Law Group. We have been practicing first-party insurance claims throughout the state of Florida for over 20 years. Collectively, we have 70-plus years of experience. And what we do and what we pride ourselves on is representing insureds, whether it's a homeowner, whether it's a business owner, whether it's a condominium or an association, but helping them through this process. And what Eric talked about, as he said in a funny way, but it's true. You're going to be dealing with an infinite amount of pushback, resistance. When it comes to an insurance claim, they do it on purpose. This is designed to be.
Why is that okay, though? Why is that allowed? Why is it, by law, why shouldn't they be allowed to operate?
I think
in good
it's
faith?
not right, but it's probably legal.
And here's and I know you guys have heard a lot from attorneys over the past 7 months. By the way, 7 months yesterday since the storm.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Where has the time gone? And so we're here as much as anything, and I want to answer your questions, but as much as anything to kind of ring the bell, sound the alarm. If you're still sitting in your home or your business and hasn't been dealt with, or you haven't been paid.
Or you're not sitting in your home because you're not even,
Yeah, there's people that are obviously in trailers,
Mm-hmm.
displaced, people living, there's even homeless people,
Right.
And if you're not having any satisfaction at this point, there's a reason for it. And this is all part of a very well-planned business plan that these insurance companies operate on. Here's what gets me. Insurance companies are for-profit companies. All right. They're not beholden to you as the individual with the claim. They're beholden to their shareholders. They're beholden to the bottom line, which is to turn a profit. So, you guys, they hear me say this all the time, but I always tell people that insurance companies are not in the claims payment business. They're in the premium collection business,
Right.
and they're in the money holding business. And that money that they collect and they hold on premiums, they invest that money. And they get to keep that interest.
But why is that okay? Why is that not illegal? Why, when these people are suffering like they're suffering on Fort Myers Beach 7 months later, and then you need to hire an attorney to say to an insurance company you're not operating in good faith, and then there has to be a fight, and then the resident has to pay attorney's fees. Why is that okay?
Well, I don't have a good answer for you, but what I've seen, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I get going, is there are statutes that are in place. There are ethics, there are guidelines, there are codes that are supposed to be there to protect you, the insured. And what we've seen certainly over the past 5 to 10 years, but certainly in the past 7 months, is all of those protections are slowly being eroded. You're losing that leverage. You're losing like the things that you have to be able to push back. The civil remedy statutes, which say, there's a whole list of ethical obligations that an insurance company has.
And you're also vaguely referring to what the legislature just passed.
Well, that's
Absolutely.
Or not so
The next
vaguely.
storm is going to be worse.
Yeah.
Because you cannot sue the insurance company.
You can, but it has to be on your own dime.
I don't call that a bill. I call that a hit job. That's what it was.
And
It was
why is it okay for the governor to say that's good for the people?
So, the insurance companies have a lot of money and a lot of PR people and that's why they were able to push that through.
But before this hit job, another hit job of a bill back last July. And so I naively went up to Tallahassee to testify in front of the Senate.
How was
House
that?
Of Banking. It was well, I won't cuss, so I'm going to keep it clean. It was very eye-opening, I'll tell you that, because you think that your voice matters. You think that you're going to get up in a public forum. You're going to be able to articulate something that you believe passionately in, only to find out that it's already a done deal. It's a fait accompli. You realize that you have full-time lobbyists up there who represent the insurance party's interests, and they're up there 24/7. They're up there as a full-time job.
Right.
So by the time you've gotten up there, when you first hear about, this is my opportunity to be heard, they've already done what they're going to do. And for better or worse, that they've got massive, like Paul says, massive amounts of resources. They're able to control, to put together organizations that make donations to political campaigns. And there are backroom handshake deals that are in place. And at the end of the day, who gets sold out?
Okay, so somebody.
So it's like now the people have to create their own lobbyist group and get together and to be able to get fair stuff through. I mean, how does the average? To me, it feels like a divide and conquer thing, because they can, pull a big group together with a lot of money, and the individual people, we're all sitting around like, you have to have strength in numbers, but it's hard to get the word out. It's hard to mobilize people to go up to Tallahassee and.
I do think the PR is starting to switch, to move our way, because the more people are seeing their premiums go up, you're getting less coverage, and the laws are against you. And I do think there's a groundswell of people seeing this, and you need to reach out to your elected officials. You need to tell your officials to push back and protect the consumer, because as Matt was saying, there are consumer laws, protection laws on the books for years.
Okay.
I've been doing this for 20 years. For 20 years, there's been statutory attorney's fees to protect the consumer, to protect the homeowner. They took it away in the middle of the night.
So the biggest scam on Fort Myers Beach with the insurance companies has been, it wasn't wind, it was flood. It wasn't flood, it was wind. And meanwhile, you got a guy or a family trying to live in a trailer or a tent on their property because it's got to be knocked down. I mean, how do they get away with that? How do those two get away with that?
Well, they shouldn't. They shouldn't. And that's what we do. This is a classic battle we do. Because they want to point the finger at the other guy. The wind carrier wants to say like, oh yeah, your house is totaled, but it's not our responsibility, right? We're only responsible for wind and it was flood. Well, the reality is that's not your burden as the homeowner to prove. You have a loss, okay? If they want to avoid their contractual obligation to you to pay for your loss, the burden should be on them. But they try to push that burden on you, and they'll say to you, oh, prove it to us that it's not. That's not their burden. That's not your burden.
So that the remedy for that then is the only remedy for that then hiring legal.
I mean, listen, it's not a fair fight. That's the starting point.
With a resident.
For a loss like this, so we had a big presence up in Mexico Beach after Hurricane Michael. We actually opened an office in Port St. Joe, and we spent a lot of time up there. And this rivals as far as the devastation. I think this is probably worse.
Sure.
Because there are a lot, it's a little more concentrated and there's a higher density here. But as far as like the magnitude of the damage, this is every bit up there. And the classic response we got from the flood and wind was this.
Yeah. Right. And on top of that, Matt, though, it's so political. Like, you can't even get Congress and the president to sign that this was like a major disaster so people can get help on their taxes, because they hate Florida because it's a Republican state. I mean, that's how much bullshit it is when it gets right down to the people that live on the island. You know, it's so political. Like, you would think that the elected officials would. I know Jim Adderholt's been trying with these insurance.
Commissioner?
No, the insurance thing that he had, whatever he was calling.
Insurance Village?
Yeah, the insurance village. Yeah. You have to have an insurance village for people to hand out checks. I mean, why? Because now you're face to face with the insurance company and you're showing them pictures and you're showing them all the devastation. And they're like, oh, well, okay, well, that makes sense to me. But you know what it is? you got the Florida CFO looking over their shoulders like, okay, you should probably write him a check.
That's it. You have to make it undeniable. It has to get to the point where the rally cry is loud enough, where the PR is bad enough, where, you know, they got away with everything with this change in law. I mean, they stripped just about every substantive right you had that protected you as an insured.
But it flew through.
And
it flew through this legislature, and the
Well,
governor signed it like it was a bonus.
There was because it was, you know,
to him.
They
It was a
called
bonus
this
to him.
the biggest unofficial bailout of the insurance company in the history of insurance.
Right, but the way they made it look was like, we can't get any more insurance
Right,
companies to
right.
come to Florida,
What-
so we have to take this burden off them where people sue them.
So what do you say to that argument? Is it a valid argument? Is it hard to get insurance companies here?
Not now. Now they want to
Well,
come here.
Why?
Because of the thing.
because the market is they've got premium increases. Everybody's rates went up, doubled, right? And they are providing less coverage now. They're changing all their policies, and there's less ability for the homeowners to go after them. So now it's a very attractive market for people to come into. But the argument that, you know, that allowed them to do this, it was a PR campaign. They won the PR war.
Wait,
Okay? They pushed it
what
through.
PR war? Which one? This bill?
To get the bill through,
Yeah.
they said that, you know, there's too much. The insurance companies are going out of business.
Right.
Right. There are always insurance companies that go out
Right.
of business, but that doesn't mean that you can take away consumer protection. That's the wrong thing to do.
Right.
You know, and that's what they did. Listen, there's always insurance fraud out there, and there's never should be. Insurance fraud is always going to exist, and they point to that. They claim everything is fraud. There's no fraud in the Hurricane Ian claim. Okay,
Right.
and as Matt said, we're 7 months out from Hurricane Ian.
Yeah.
Their obligation was to make your claim to resolve your claim in 90 days.
Wow.
90 days. That's their obligation. That's what they're supposed to do. How many people got it done in 90 days? Very few.
No.
Now, when they don't make that 90-day, then is there a way that you can charge them back for, like, what is the penalty, or is there no penalty?
You know, we were actually talking about this in the car today on the way over here. Like,
Oh,
it's
see?
like what
So it was
happened?
like I was right there.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
listen to this. but you know, these things that these penalties that they build into the statutes, they're supposed to have consequence, and they're not. They're getting away with it. They're so emboldened with the change in law, with the climate of things right now. They're getting away with things like just ignoring you, and they're almost challenging us to sue them. Say, come sue us. I
Right.
mean, that's really, at the end of the day, the only true remedy that you have left. And thankfully, with this storm, you know, they did change. There was the hit job of the change in law, but they were not able to get the changes to apply retroactively. So that means
Okay.
the statute as it existed before, which included right to attorney's fees to penalize them when they don't file a claim properly, it is in place. So
Yeah,
it
I
is
wonder how many
retroactive.
people know that.
Not
you
a
know,
lot.
I
Not a
mean,
lot.
most people were going about their lives, just going about their lives. Now they had to learn about insurance and public adjusters. I didn't even know what a public adjuster was until this storm came through. And the process of, you know, getting a public adjuster, and then you have to get an attorney. Is it possible for a resident to ever be made whole? Because now, you know, if they get a public adjuster, yes, it's on top of what they already got from the insurance company,
Yeah.
but there's still, you got to pay, and then they have to pay.
It's getting harder and harder, especially with, like I say, the changes in law. But here's the thing that most people don't realize. So an insurance company's obligation, you pay them a premium. It's a contract, right? You pay them a hefty premium. They're always raising these premiums for whatever reason. In exchange, they're going to indemnify you. And indemnity means, pure and simple, return you to the condition that you were the moment before the storm hit. Okay.
Please, that hasn't
What-
happened once
so
on this
minus
island.
your-
So what do they like to do? They come in there,
Yeah.
they send somebody from Iowa or Texas who's never looked at a cat loss before, and they're throwing bodies out there to you know, as field adjusters. They're doing drive-by curb reviews of your house. They say, "Oh, look there, the house. It looks like that corner of the roof. You could probably patch it. You're fine. Oh, is that door loose? Okay, that's it." And they tell you this is what we're going to do. The reality is, and this is what we talk to our clients and talk to everybody about, is it's not up to them. They don't get to determine the scope of the loss. we, as advocates, we want to make sure that we're wrapping our arms around the whole scale of the loss. And so it's not just the obvious things like the roof. And, again, they're going to say repair. We're going to, odds are your roof got hit by a Cat 5. And this was a Cat 5, guys. I
For
don't
sure
care
it
what they
was.
said.
Yeah, I don't even understand why they think it wasn't.
It has to
Go
do
drive up and down Estero Boulevard or one side street.
Yeah.
Because it
Politics,
changes.
money,
Yeah,
politics.
yeah.
But they want you to focus on just the obvious. And we always say, listen, not only is that roof not designed to withstand winds like this, those windows, even if they're not failed, you get
They're
150
damaged
miles.
enough now.
compromised.
Right.
They're
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
compromised. They're not fit to do what they're supposed to do. So,
Mhm.
you take things like that, exterior stucco cracks. You look at, the things that are less obvious that need to be included. So if you think I'm going to go it alone and just let the insurance company, I'm going to make them pay 100%. Well, they're only paying 100% of what they agree they owe.
Right.
What we're doing is we're throwing our arms around the whole scope, the whole cost of what this is going to cost. And it's going to be a much more substantial number. That's just a fact. We're not making things up. This is just a fact that they're looking to minimize. We're looking to get the right number. And if that number lets you do everything you need to do, and it covers the fees, of a public adjuster or, of any other expert that you had to bring in, so be it.
Is it best for folks that aren't getting their checks or they aren't getting the money they deserve to call an attorney and will you be able to get them what they deserve and without them losing money? I mean, you got to get a fee too.
Absolutely. No, and obviously I'm here because we can help, and that's the point, and make a living doing it, and
Don't let them get over on you. We paid our premiums. You don't get to get over.
That's
on us.
right.
That's right.
You make us whole.
That's right. That's right. That's it. So yeah, I mean, yes, there are the process is built in, so it includes, like I said, litigation. They've got to pay our fees when they pay the indemnity.
I asked the wrong question. What I meant to ask was, does the insurance company feel more intimidated when a resident gets an attorney and an attorney starts?
They've set up the system to make it almost impossible for a homeowner to do this by themselves. I mean, you need somebody to have. You need somebody that knows how the system works and knows how the contracts work. And yes, of course, when you get an advocate in there fighting for you, who knows how the policies are written and where the coverages are, and knows how to get it properly scoped in the language that the insurance company will listen to, it makes the claim go a lot smoother and a lot better resolution in most parts. Unfortunately, they've set up this system where it's very difficult to do it alone.
And at least for this storm, those fees, your fees, will be covered if you win, or covered no matter what.
Yeah. So the system is the way it works is, and again, the insurance companies are so big and powerful, they write every law. So there's a law that came in last July that said, before you sue us, we're gonna treat you like crap. We're gonna do everything we want to do. You finally get off your duff and hire a lawyer, get an advocate. Before you actually sue us, you've got to do a notice of intent to litigate with the Department of Financial Services. Goes to them. What do you think happens then? They get to go, oh, well, wait a minute, let's reconsider our position. They get to get up off their tails and either come out and decide if they want to reinspect or put some money on it. Most of the time they stay on their denial. But in situations like that where they see you have an advocate, you got a lawyer who's helped you put the proper scope together. If you needed to bring an engineer, you brought the engineer in. They see that you're ready to go get them. And there are some instances where they'll put real money on it. And in that case, we don't get the statutory attorney's fees because we haven't gotten into litigation. So we take a percentage. It's 10%, like a public adjuster. But we don't encourage you to accept it unless and until that's going to make you whole. And so even if it's a partial offer, we're going to go. We're here to fight. We're here to go as far as we need to go.
But who hires does the homeowner hire the adjuster and the engineer, or is that, if they sign with you guys, is that what you guys do and then figure that in?
Once you hire us, once you hire us, we bring in our team.
Okay.
And those costs in litigation, those costs are recoverable.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Yeah, I just, the thing is so sad because you have these people that, I don't mean to say these people, but the people on Fort Myers Beach are going through hell. Just drive up and down the side streets and you can see they're either, the houses are collapsed, their houses are gone, there's debris where their dream house used to be, or they're living in a trailer and you would think that all the commercials that you see on TV are about how they're going to make sure they're there the day that you need them. And these people have been nothing like that at all. Nothing like that. It's a total scam. It really is. And the politicians are in on it, because if the politicians really gave a shit about what these people on Fort Myers Beach were going through, they wouldn't need you.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing,
and I don't mean that in a negative
No.
way. I appreciate you coming on the show, but what the F, man?
for sure. And one thing we're seeing here a lot is they're really trying to choke people out, because what they're doing is they're not paying the claims when the homeowner makes it on their own. We get the claim, they come to us, it's denied as quote under deductible. You've got a $30,000 deductible, it's under deductible. We make the notice of intent to litigate with a proper scope, ask for $150,000. They offer $50,000. We don't think that's the right amount to take, but we've got clients that are saying I just got to take
I got to
it.
get something.
And that's why they never get held to account, because when you take that money, they say you have to sign a confidential release.
And part of the problem that, people say they want the beach to go back to the way it was. And I understand that the whole thing with the cottage thing, but part of the problem with the reason that it's not going to be the way it was is because the people are being driven out because they can't rebuild their homes, because the insurance companies are sticking in their ass.
Money.
I mean, excuse me for saying that, but seriously, I mean, it really gets to the point where you've paid all this money in. If you don't make that payment, you're screwed, man. Like, you don't have insurance, and you're constantly worrying about if I miss a payment, but you never miss a payment. And then they're not there for you.
Yeah. I mean, I know you have to have the insurance for your mortgage, but it's like, if you didn't, I mean, I'd sit there and go, well, I'm going to pay. I'm still not going to get anything. Why even bother paying the premiums in the first place?
Right. It's like health insurance. Yeah.
Well,
they've got people so scared of the insurance companies, and I'm worried they're going to drop me. I better not pursue. I don't want to push it.
Right.
Well, it's not whether they're going to drop you or not, because that has nothing to do with you. That has a bottom line dollar cost that they're running, at wherever their headquarters are. You pay a premium. You need to be made whole. And I get people say, "Oh, I don't want to push it. I don't push it." And I say, or they go, "I'm going to get dropped, and I'm so worried." And I'll say, so they're going to drop you. You're going to go to the next insurer. That insurer is going to say, before we bind you, you need to pay for that roof. And you're going to go,
yeah.
Well, why should I pay for the roof? It was caused in the hurricane. And they're going to go, no, it wasn't.
Right.
We don't care. You finished. Your claim was finished, but now you still need a new roof. So they intimidate you. They throw you off. And then ultimately you're going to pay what they should be paying.
Right.
It's just.
Well, I mean, that we got dropped after whatever hurricane came through, and we had to get a lawyer to get the roof.
Yeah, once you get a lawyer, though, the things change.
Yeah, but then they were quick to try and drop us. Actually, for us, I can't even remember who our insurance company was before, but them dropping us and us moving on was the best thing we ever did.
Yeah, but and the lawyer with our roof, you get a lawyer, and they somehow. You don't even have to talk to anybody anymore. It's the lawyer talking to the insurance company, and clearly the lawyer is beating up the insurance company because we got a new roof, and we didn't have to, pay for the roof because
we had to pay our deductible.
Yeah, but somehow the right thing was done.
It's at the end of the day, and again, you guys have heard from lawyer after lawyer and billboard and commercial, so I'm not here to just keep on pounding that same message. But at the end of the day, you have to have somebody who understands how to navigate the process, who understands what your rights are, knows what's in that policy, because that's another thing. These policies are now written. They're so complex. They've got so many pitfalls and
who reads them?
Easy outs for them. Yeah.
And who reads them?
Yeah. And so you need somebody who's going to be in there to, you do. Yeah.
I mean, even if you read it, though, if you object to something.
Yeah,
you need somebody that's going to be able to.
But the average homeowner probably doesn't read the fine print.
Absolutely.
And now Now they will. They will.
Nobody reads their policy.
Right.
Yeah.
They just want to say, okay, I have insurance. I'm covered. When the storm comes through, I'll be okay. And you won't be okay, which is unfortunate. So what are you guys going to have set up today so everybody knows they can stay in?
So we're here for the afternoon, everybody. And, here's the real message. Because, again, everybody's heard and seen every kind of ad. Right now, we're 7 months out. This is like the time. If you're still struggling or you're not sure, wake up, come on down today. We're here all day. bring whatever policy questions you have, whatever claim. We're like free advice. And not only free advice, we'll pick up a beer for you. We'll have put some food out, but we're going to be here for a couple hours because we want people to understand their rights. We want people we want to help get the word out. And I know that sounds Pollyanna. No, because really the reality is, here's the reality. You're going to go, there's a lot more on this claim. I need your help. And you're going to hire me. And that's my goal. Obviously, I want you to feel comfortable, good about it. But so we're going to be here all day.
But the fact of the matter is, let me go first, and then you can go second. The fact of the matter is, if your insurance company hasn't helped you now, they're not operating in good faith, and that's true. Am I right?
That's absolutely correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And even if you think they've paid you enough, or you think it's flood or it's wind, let us just talk to us.
Okay.
Let's
so
talk.
that was
talk
my
to you about
question:
it a little
is
bit.
that people might be sitting in the audience or sitting at home thinking, "Well, I'm already halfway through the process." They can still get a lawyer, get representation, get an advocate. It's not like if you've signed anything or unless when is it too late?
Unless you've signed a release. So, and they'll be very, very, if the insurance companies cut you a check, that's fine. Because the law does say they have to make what's called an undisputed payment, right? So that doesn't mean that's what your claim is worth. And when you took that check, that didn't mean you said, "Oh, I agree with you, I'm done." Unless they actually had you sign a final release, which, it's a little sleazy, but they will. Some of them will. Unless you've done that, then your claim is still open. And real quick, I don't know if you guys saw the Washington Post article that was made big. It was big in the news. It was about a month ago. And it really touched on a lot of things. And I would encourage everybody to look it up. What it is there's a couple of whistleblowers, who are on the insurance side. And so these were quote unquote independent adjusters, field adjusters that were brought out by a couple of insurance companies that were good guys. They were out there. They were adjusting claims. They were talking to homeowners.
Out here. Okay.
Ian claims. They were writing up the proper full scope and giving it to the desk adjuster. The way it goes, they send out their rep, and then the desk adjuster makes the decision. They found out that these two insurance companies, and if two are doing it, all of them are doing it, that they were taking their estimates, slashing them as much as 70, 80% for no reason, and putting the adjuster's name back on there as if they'd written it. These two brave guys said, "You know what? This is our professional name and reputation. We're not going to stand for this."
Is that illegal?
Of course it is. Yeah.
So did anybody get busted for it?
So it's been handed off to the AG apparently, and they said that they're going to start looking into it. But what was interesting in that article, that obviously, but there were a lot of statistics. And one of the statistics that was thrown out that really got me was there were over 700,000 claims that came about as a result of this hurricane. The insurance companies closed 150,000 of them without paying a penny.
Wow.
I didn't say that they were good, that they were closed claims. I said that they closed the claims. So, they just shut them down. And people who didn't know better or didn't think they had any rights or anything are sitting there, and the clock's ticking because they know the statute's going to go eventually, and
what is
too late.
Statute?
Yeah, what is it?
So they changed the statute to file a claim.
A year from the date of the storm to file the claim, make your initial claim. So if you haven't made your claim yet, you got to make it.
Well, who hasn't made their claim yet? That would be silly.
But so after your claim, you then have a period of time to dispute the claim. We've got about another year after so 2 years in general to make your claim.
Wow.
They'll do all things like just say, well, you didn't respond or we paid you something. We're going to close it.
It's such a
What's
scam.
the longest case you've had trying to settle?
Well, we still have some Hurricane Michael claims that are open. Yep.
When was that? Like the last Ali Frazier fight?
2018. Yeah, right.
Wow. 2018. Jeez.
Yeah. They're gonna drag them out as long as they possibly
can. You guys
can.
going to be set up at this table to take questions and offer up some other advice. And unfortunately, folks, I don't mean this in a negative way, but we're at the stage now where you probably need an attorney. And we want you to hire somebody you can trust and come down and talk to these guys or contact them afterward. What's the number of people can call you if they want to contact you if they're not here today, or if they're, trying to figure out if they should hire an attorney to help with their insurance. And if you've gotten a public adjuster and you don't feel like you're getting what you should from the public adjuster, you need to at least call an attorney and ask for advice. You'll tell them they don't need you.
Right. And if you have we work with a lot of public adjusters too. And the good ones do a great job of documenting the evidence in real time, presenting the claim, pushing it as far as you can actually, possibly push it without a lawyer. So, and they become important parts of the litigation. They're witnesses, they're experts. So we like public adjusters. We work well with public adjusters. So there's really no scenario that's not worth talking to us. The best way to reach us is to call us on at 866-703-4878. That's 866-703-4878. Our website is www.thelandowlawgroup.com. There's the in there that
I know.
Someone jumped on the Landau Law Group,
right.
so we've got.
And it's also, folks, it's on our website. There's a cube on the right hand page of the website. If you want to look at it Monday or Tuesday or whenever, it's up there on the right hand side of our website. It's so frustrating that people have to go through all this to get their lives back in order. And my biggest aggravation is politicians. I mean, they just dropped the ball. To me, they just drop, and they'll just keep throwing money. They'll keep throwing information out there like we spent $4 billion on this, and we're pulling the boats out of the water and the whole thing. And just come down to Fort Myers Beach and drive up and down the street and see these people that are living in their trailers, and their answer will be, well, you can't do everything overnight. It's like, okay, but you can send billions of dollars in rockets to Ukraine, and you can't figure this. You can't figure this out. You can't help. And nothing against Ukraine. I mean, I don't think Ukraine should be invaded by Russia either. I mean, I'm all for saving people, but I mean, it seems so simple to me sometimes that that these things are so complicated with this country.
Well, you have a simple mind, so for you, everything's simple.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Preach.
I'm just saying.
I'm with you.
I mean, it just became such a scam when people were they needed
I don't think
this help
it
the
became
most.
one. I think it's been one for a while.
A
It was
situation
totally
like this
highlighted here.
exposes a lot of the hypocrisy that's always been there, and you don't know what you have or don't have until you need it, and that's what you find out.
And
That's really opens your eyes.
And I
to
don't
a lot
really
of
think politicians care. I really don't. Do you guys think politicians care?
I don't see a lot of evidence of them caring. I
Yeah.
see a lot of
You know what
greed.
politicians care about? The next election. That's what they always care about, in my
Who's going to
opinion.
finance it for them? Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah,
what do I
agree.
know? I don't know
I-
anything. I'm just a dinky podcaster. That's the end of it. All right. So thank you guys for coming on. Thanks for sponsoring the show.
Oh,
And
thank
you
you
for
guys.
hanging
It's
out
awesome
here.
to
The
see
Landau
everybody.
Law Group,
All right.
everybody.
Thank you.
So nice of them to come on and give you guys information. They're going to be sitting right here at this table. So if you have any additional questions,
Are you done with me?
no, I'm waiting for you to yell at me for getting on my soapbox. And
Well, I mean, I think that's a legitimate soapbox to get on. Some of the things you do, not so much. But
I don't see why you don't
I
see.
don't see any reason not to come and talk to them or contact them.
No, there's no downside
There's
to
no
it.
downside.
Right. They can tell you don't need us.
Yeah, right.
I mean, if you feel like you haven't gotten enough money from your insurance company, the right thing to do now is to call an attorney.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 7 months. It's not 7 days. It's
Right.
7 months. And so I guess what frustrates me is like you don't see politicians like getting more involved in this, getting more like this is a major thing. And it almost seems like with that last bill, they were on the other side. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know shit. So what do I know?
Read your ad.
Remove It Pros, everybody, because sometimes you got a bunch of gunk and sometimes you got a bunch of stuff that you got to get rid of. And Remove It Pros, you've probably seen their trucks all over Fort Myers Beach because, they're removing stuff. That's why their name is Remove It Pros. And you can give them a call. They've done over 10,000 interior demolitions since they incorporated. And they started Remove It Pros on Cottage Street. That's here on Fort Myers Beach, Cottage Street. Yeah, that's where they started. David and Logan Lockwood from Remove It Pros. Give them a call at 239-333-7678. It's a rowdy crowd here at Wahoo Willie's today. I love it. It's off season. There's a lot of yellow shirts. I see some black tank tops. I would prefer more yellow. I hope we see more yellow tonight. Yellow.
The bird.
We're going to take a Guinness Book of World Records selfie tonight at the
Here we go.
concert. I hope so. It better not be just me and 5 people, because that would be wicked embarrassing. So give David and Logan Lockwood a call at Remove It Pros, 239-333-7678. All right, everybody. The concert tonight is for the Beach Kids Foundation. Backpacks, please. You don't need to fill them. You can fill them. You can bring supplies. We can fill them. We have hundreds of backpacks that were dropped off at our house by the fine gentlemen and gentle ladies that work for the UPS and the FedEx.
And Amazon.
Amazon, yeah. Taking over the world, those Amazon people. And so we want to be able to take a big picture of the backpacks in front of the stage. We'll have all our merchandise. If you want to buy anything yellow, got some towels, tank tops, koozies, hats. We got the new got the teal and the green hats came in last week. Yeah.
I love the green hat.
I was doing the walk around today with Tom at Margaritaville, and I guess the sound, he's going to kill me if the sound sucked again, because the sound sucked the first time. And the pink that doesn't say Ed on it. We got more pink hats. We got these pink hats. Go get that. Throw that over here, Dave.
Yeah, but this allows you to write in. It's a write-in ticket.
Like
you
the first,
this
happened once where my name is left off the hat. Like, how does the printer leave my name off the hat? It makes no sense. Like, why? Why me? Why me? Why me?
Why not you?
Why is my name left off that hat? Now that's probably a collector's item. We could probably charge $5 more for that hat.
No, we're gonna
pink.
Get a Sharpie pen.
I don't want to see any dudes tonight wearing the pink hat, unless they're playing a flute. Yeah, that's perfect.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks.
What? You started it. It wasn't the flute, it was the clarinet. Even worse, like the clarinet.
Well, thank you guys so much. We look forward to seeing you tonight.
Do you know how demeaning? Do you know how demeaning it is to go into the music store to the guy running the music store and say, "I need 5 number 3 reeds." You know what dude knows what a reed is? I did, because I had to refill my flute. Because if you play the clarinet, if you play the clarinet too long, like you get so much spittle from your own face that it starts to smell. Like you get bad breath. Like the bad breath is so bad that it hurts yourself. Yeah. All right, everybody, enough. We'll see you at the concert tonight. Thank you all for coming.
You guys are awesome.
That's a lie. That was a lie right there.
Can I get a picture right there with that?
Yeah.